All right. So now we've done it, guys. This is going to be our first official podcast. We're no longer in the beta testing of podcasts. You know, we've tested it. We've done everything with it.
We're beyond podcast 0?
We're beyond podcast 0. I dare say we're at podcast 1.
No, we're not like software updates, like 0.1.
0.1?
0.2.
Oh.
0.1.
This is 1. Next podcast will be 1.1 if it doesn't go well. That's how they do it, right?
Yeah. And if need be, like 1.1 V1 and V2, test different builds of podcasts.
Yeah, podcast build. See what works, what doesn't work. So this is the fan friction podcast. I can't say one. I have to alternate, or I can't alternate. I'm Stu.
Andy.
And Tim.
All right, we all probably sound the same, but you know that's not the point. The point is we're gonna start off with our usual theme song, which is reading bad fan fiction. This one is called First Encounter. Andy and I will be reading it. The description: Hogwarts has contracted a disease called loneliness, and the giant squid is the only cure.
Disclaimer: the characters within the story solely belong to J.K. Rowling and Warner Brothers.
Author's note: unbaited. One shot. You know it's good because it's unbaited. Yeah. Just like we're on beta now. We're
that doesn't equate to alpha?
No. What does it go first? Does it alpha's
beta.
first and then beta and then gamma?
But unbaited is not baited.
Lambda.
I don't know.
I don't know what unbaited means, but whatever. Do you want to read first or me?
I can start.
All right. So this is First Encounter.
Hogwarts sighed, and it echoed within its empty halls. The students all had left for the summer, and he felt empty and useless. Hagrid was often around, but he was usually too focused on bizarre animals to fulfill the needs of Hogwarts. Professors would pop up occasionally, but being a magic school, Hogwarts didn't need much upkeeping. The little he did need was taken care of by Filch.
He shuddered, causing small trembles throughout his halls that was barely discernible, except by the spiders and the owls. He didn't care much for Filch, wishing he could talk without his squib feet touching his magnificent stone floors. He had long since stopped trying to force his floors open to swallow Filch and Mrs. Norris whole. Besides...
Mrs. Norris's hole.
Oh god, not her hole.
No.
Besides, if he kept it up, he would be risking a prolapse staircase that was no laughing matter. I can't read it.
Prolapse staircase. The giant squid saw how miserable Hogwarts was. It was true that he also missed the students, but for an entirely different reason. He missed their terrified screams, and as he revealed himself, rising from the murky depths of the lake.
His huge eyes stared mournfully at his very large tentacles. At one time, he had dreams of being an actor. The larger he grew, the fewer agents and scouts would come calling, until they finally stopped altogether. There wasn't much in the market for a squid that would split a schoolgirl from stem to stern. Oh god.
He stared at his tentacles as they moved gently in the current. Schoolgirls were out. A plan formed in his mind, and he swam to the surface, hesitating momentarily before pulling himself from the water. It ran off his rubbery skin in rivulets as he made his way across the grounds. No humans were around to witness the incredible trek, and no human would believe his eyes had he been witness.
Hogwarts watched the giant squid approach and felt apprehension well up in his kitchen. What are you doing? The words weren't spoken, but they were understood.
Just trust me, the giant squid replied, caressing Hogwarts' outer walls.
I'm not ready, Hogwarts exclaimed, trying to push the giant squid away with his magic.
Hogwarts, you're lonely. I'm lonely. We don't have to be. Besides, you can't go around manipulating your staircases.
You know about that?
Everybody does it. Sort of.
That's beside the point. I've never... The temperature rose within... the temperature within rose in embarrassment.
I'll go slow, I promise.
He said to the building.
I'll go slow, I promise. He began to caress a window, teasing it open. Hogwarts sighed, the fight leaving him. He relaxed, allowing the tentacle inside, where it brushed against the inner walls, before setting on the stone floor. He fashioned the suction cups to the floor, lifting the tentacle away so that it pulled on the floor without losing its grip.
Another sigh went through the halls of Hogwarts. Oh, Merlin, that feels so good. His rapture turned to fright as he felt the tentacle work its way into a second window. I don't!
Trust me, it'll feel good. Remember this? He pulled the suction cups a little harder, and Hogwarts groaned.
God, I hate that we're doing alternating voices. Do that again! The giant squid complied, and as he did so, thrust his second tentacle in. Hogwarts shuddered, coming very close to ending the fun. The giant squid backed off, unwilling to finish so soon. He waited for Hogwarts to calm down before sending the second tentacle to search the room. He felt the need to fill Hogwarts as much as possible, and he raised another tentacle, caressing his outer walls, running along windowsills and tracing individual bricks. So caught up in the bliss, Hogwarts didn't notice the giant squid slip a third and fourth tentacle.
This is incredible, Hogwarts breathed.
Breathed, said the building. This isn't even the best part. He held up his two longest tentacles. I can reach these farther. It's hard to read because I can't stop laughing. These can reach farther than a room. They can go into your hallways.
I want them in me.
Are you sure?
Apprehension rolled through his kitchen again. While he was deciding, the giant squid forced another tentacle in. You have 3 tentacles left to decide.
What happens if I don't?
In response, the giant squid slid a 6th into another window. 2, he said simply, with a hint of warning.
We should have warned this isn't for children or people who like Hogwarts. Hogwarts could take them all. He knew he could. But what would the other wizarding schools think? Would Beauxbatons allow Giant Squid to violate her? Certainly not. If Durmstrang ever found out, there would be no end of teasing.
The giant squid grew impatient and slid a 7th tentacle into a window, followed immediately by an 8. 2-1. Time's up. You didn't decide.
What? That's not fair, said the building.
It's a simple answer, yes or no. Now I'll have to punish you. And with that, he struck Hogwarts square on the outer wall with a paddle-like tentacle. Hogwarts yelped and tried to squirm away, but the tentacles and his foundation held firm. The giant squid struck him with the other. Again and again he spanked the naughty wizarding school until he sobbed for the giant squid to stop. And still he spanked.
The giant squid finally stopped, but Hogwarts didn't have time for a reprieve before the giant squid forced his extra long spanking tentacles into 2 separate windows. They slid through the room and forced the doors open, the pain only adding to Hogwarts' pleasure. The tentacles were in the halls now, massaging the long stone tunnels.
This was incredible, the giant squid thought. He should have done this ages ago. Every tentacle was in a different window. No schoolgirl, no matter how many movies she made, could hold all 10 tentacles at once. Each one moved differently, and with a different pace, driving Hogwarts crazy with the inability to match his speed.
He felt that familiar feeling and doubled his efforts. Ink exploded all over Hogwarts, some finding its way into the windows. He unified his tentacles somewhat, completely focused on Hogwarts. He must be close. Hogwarts is a he.
Then it happened. Water shot out of faucets, toilets overflowed, and the bread set in ovens to keep warm by thoughtful house elves exploded. Hogwarts shook violently to its foundations, rousing Filch from bed and sending house elves and Mrs. Norris scrambling for cover. Even Hagrid heard a groan of stone and came running.
They searched around the castle and through the castle, but found no sign of intruders. Most perplexing was the sticky ink inside on one side of the castle. Hagrid peered through the dark towards the lake, but was unable to see the ripples in the wake of the giant squid.
The giant squid slipped beneath the waves, wanting to grin even though his beak was incapable. He anticipated a very short summer before the professors and students returned, so he'd better make the most of it.
And that was First Encounter by Lyris Malachi? Malachi? I can't do the name. It's probably not real.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Lyris Malachi. Or Malachi.
Malachi.
I guess that's Malachi. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Malachi.
okay.
Definitely Malachi.
Written by
Lyris
an
Malachi.
Amish person.
So, Tim, reactions.
I don't know what to say. When I heard the title, I thought I was going to go into the octopus and the students. I didn't think they would make the building a person taking all these.
You gotta think, like, what happens when the students go into Hogwarts for school? Like, does the building get off on that?
Right, yeah, by that same
Well, I
notion
mean, the building, like, it seems the innocent victim here, right? But that squid is doing things during the year.
Yeah, I don't...
no doubt.
Yeah, that squid's preying on other people, too.
Yeah. Make me look at the fourth book in an entirely different light.
Or is it just entering the windows is what... No, because, it was caressing the floors.
And, going through all the hallways.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Got some depth there, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, to be honest.
Yeah.
And didn't it say that the school tried to get away? Like, where's it going to go?
They're at school! I want to thank, I think we found that on Cracked, and I think I also found it on toplessrobot.com back when they used to do fanfiction.net. I don't think anybody wrote that erotically, but it was still really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, fanfiction. So welcome to the Fanfiction podcast. Now we can, start talking about other
that friction became literal this time.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
I was thinking about it today. If we're going to keep doing this fanfiction at the beginning of every podcast, we're going to have to use a lot of erotic stuff, because that's where most of the bad stuff is.
That's all the friction is.
Yeah, that's where all the friction is.
Yeah, and there was, like, no bad language in that whatsoever. Like,
No.
We're painting a horrible picture of your head, but...
Absolutely awful picture.
Absolutely horrible, but in no way is it profane, right?
No, yeah.
And it seemed pretty well written, in a way, like...
Yeah, there weren't really any misspellings. There were a couple sentences that could have been written better, but other than that... Good job, Malachi. Yeah, that was something else. But, like, finding, like, last podcast 0, that fanfiction, that's like, that, I'm gonna have a hard time finding stuff like that again. Like, genuinely bad fanfiction that's not of the erotic. Well, I guess it was mildly erotic, but...
Kind of. She
got
quote-unquote raped. But they
but,
kept the child and treated it not as rape.
Not as rape, yeah. It's fanfiction, man.
Yeah. It was up there in quality. I mean, that was one episode, right? Was it 21 or 22? Like,
yeah, 22.
There's a lot more out there.
Yeah,
if you want to jump back to that ever.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can keep using that person's YouTube, but I don't know. I want to branch out. I don't just want to read everything that person's done.
Yeah, definitely branch out. But
well, as we mentioned last week, there's always my immortal.
Yeah, I think the visuals helped to start off in Podcast Hero.
Yeah. But this
time
we can have
this time I think we're able to paint it pretty aptly.
Well, I downloaded a GIMP, and that's how I've been doing the thumbnails for our videos and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna figure out a way. I'm just gonna get like 6 pictures of like a squid and a building touching each other, and just kind of GIF that all together.
Do you want to do that?
I'm thinking about it actually.
Okay. Because I can always Photoshop if you ever don't want to do
Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'll probably take you up on that.
Okay. I mean, if you
want
to
make the erotic squid building stuff.
Do you know what? Like, huge thing was missed. Well, at least two huge things were missed in this fan fiction. So,
oh yeah.
One was no mention of Chamber of Secrets, which would have been a great line.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Right, and 2, no witnessing by pictures or moving photo frames.
Yeah.
Living pictures.
Because on the one hand, it almost
living paintings.
Right.
It almost makes you feel like it was written by somebody who doesn't know Harry Potter that well. But there were a lot of little, like, I don't know who Mrs. Norris.
I mean, house elves though. Got house elves.
Yeah.
Moving staircases.
Yeah. Although that was like a focus of a whole book, so if you just read that one, you would have it.
But that book was Chamber of Secrets, I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
They should have made reference to it.
Chamber of Secrets is the most erotic sounding one, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could easily have been
don't rouse the basilisk. Like, it's all there. It was easy.
Right. And that could be the G spot, the Chamber of Secrets.
Well, you gotta also ask yourself, like, where does this fall into the Harry Potter canon? Like, is this, before Harry Potter, after Harry Potter? Hogwarts has been around for a long time, too, I believe.
Well, it was over the summer, right? So it could have been any of the years, potentially. Without mention of Chamber of Secrets, I would have to say hat would go beforehand just because of that, because it hadn't been quote unquote found. It was probably even before
giant squid?
He Who Must Not Be Named.
Is the giant squid in the books or the movie? I feel like I feel like he's in the movie.
I never read
I
the
think
books.
he may. I don't know if he was
I'm
in
just-
the movie, but I don't think he was in the books.
I'm
I think he was
not-
mentioned in the books like a tentacle.
I'm not gonna lie, I just, like, the scene I was thinking of with the giant squid, I was thinking of Lord of the Rings. Fellowship of the Ring, when they fight the
Yeah.
giant squid.
I mean,
That's what that was trying to do.
there's the whole yeah.
I don't want to think about that. Not with the hobbits. Not the hobbits.
Well, Moria, the mines.
Oh.
Yeah, I was trying
Can the
to.
hobbits take all 10 tentacles?
I mean, Pippin probably, but I don't know what the rest
just
of them.
yeah.
Pippin.
Just
Yeah.
Pippin.
But those mines is probably what I was trying to go after.
Yeah, the mine's Moria.
Like, it was like, oh, you figured out how to open it. Oh, I want all up in there.
Right? Yeah, it's been waiting.
Yeah, he didn't know how to say friend and enter.
That's how you get into girls. Okay.
Not girls.
Oh. Just-
Oh, yeah, baby, you like the mines of Moria. I don't know why I have that voice when I talk to girls. That's probably why I don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, hey, girl.
I'm gonna try that.
But you gotta do it in that voice, too. Oh, yeah. Hey, so yeah, we got a couple videos up on Fan Friction YouTube. I'm pretty proud of us keeping up a schedule for 1 week, not
know.
falling off of it.
I'll say I reviewed them, like left them playing when I walked away. Like anyone who wants to do that, that's a great thing to do. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the longer ones, I can't imagine anybody other than me is really gonna sit there and actually watch them. But I've seen them way too many times now with editing and everything. But there's a much shorter version of it now. I've taken the 2 hours and condensed it to 5 minutes. So that's out there.
Dark Souls highlights.
Dark Souls highlights, yeah.
I show up for like 2 sound bites.
I
I didn't talk that much during Dark Souls, so
Yeah, I forgot you walked in when at the end of that session.
Well, you're in Skeleton School Part 2 a fair amount. Like, halfway through it, I think you played fairly good.
highlights only show up a couple times.
Yeah.
There's only a couple bits in there where I was like actually paying attention when action happened. Like,
Well, you know, I'm the star of those videos.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I have to focus it on myself rather than anybody else. Because Tim was playing Pokemon and Fire Emblem the whole time, so...
I was
And
trying
that
to
was,
play Fire Emblem.
Trying being the key
I
word.
was making a character.
Making a character? Yeah, you were making a character, complaining about the keyboard system and everything.
I don't remember what I was doing. I was on my phone.
Probably.
Was,
I was on my phone, too. I wasn't actually playing the game too well.
yeah, it was all pre-recorded gameplay, right? And you just like reacted to it.
Actually...
that's the way to go, really. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we should really do more post-commentary with these really long, hour-long
yeah.
videos.
I mean, the nice thing is you can like every once in a while just pause, like, hey, that was bad. Go back, re-record audio.
Mhm.
You know, like so much more professional.
Well, that's our problem. I mean, we're doing it live, and you know, our jokes could be funnier, but they're
But they're not.
they're not.
Mm-mm.
Jokes kind of fall flat.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna be post commentary from now on. From this moment on, no more live stuff. We're gonna actually probably post commentary this podcast too. Like we'll leave it playing, and then we'll talk over it, and we'll get the jokes right.
Silence.
Good joke. All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody thought that was funny.
Crickets.
Yeah,
Chirp,
so,
chirp,
but
chirp.
we've got a couple of... I was trying to think of ways... Because, okay, we play video games and we have a podcast. If you tell that to anybody, like, hey, yeah, I run a channel. We have a podcast and we play video games and talk over them. We are every single YouTube channel.
Yeah. It's amazing. Some channels, like, the popularity that spikes from one video. I don't understand it. But then, I've had a few, like... I see a suggested video. I'm like, oh, this can't be any good. Watch that one video. It happens to be the good one, and then you think that the whole channel is good. It's not really.
Nope.
Right.
That's us, man.
But it nets them like tons of subscribers day one, and then they carry it as far as they can.
But that's the thing, because you see channels, and like I found channels that have like 1,000 subscribers, but then you look at their videos, and they only have like average view is like 60 to 100, which I mean is not bad. But what are we getting, like 10? But
Right. Maybe.
I mean 1 million because we're awesome.
Yeah.
But
Do you think people just go in, subscribe, and don't even watch?
yeah, or like at the end of a video you say like, hey, like and subscribe, and somebody's like, okay, I'll like and subscribe. They like and subscribe, and then they don't go back and watch it again. Like, it's tough to make a fan base that's actually wanting to watch everything that you put out. Yeah, so we're not doing that.
Nope.
I'm hoping with consistency though, because we're trying to be pretty consistent. I got a bacon calendar
I think
off in
we've-
the distance.
I think we've pretty steadily keyed ourselves out of the underage crowd as much as possible.
Yeah, we
just
just read erotic Harry Potter fanfiction, so I don't know about
which just
that.
happens to be to be fair, that will attract a lot of them, but we'll get a lot of hate mail from parents.
Yeah, well, screw them.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think with the
Literally?
I'm noticing a trend of people are posting their streams on YouTube. So I mean that's basically what we're doing. We're just doing post streams, as I like to call them.
Yeah, we're not even given the chance for a Twitch subscriber to try to jump on initially.
Yeah, get that whole Twitch thing going.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a big fan. I've been watching some guys who use a Hitbox, and a Hitbox has, whereas Twitch has about a minute delay, Hitbox has about 10 seconds.
Mm.
So I think if we go with anything, we should go with Hitbox.
Didn't Twitch up their delay recently?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I heard they went from something to a minute rather than
Right.
You know.
And yeah, it was kind of unclear why.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to have at least some delay.
Right.
Because it allows all the post-processing to go through
Right.
and make sure the video displays properly.
Mhm.
Can
don't
you
have
add
enough
your
in
own
the
delay
first
on
issue.
top of that?
I'm not sure if there's manual delay.
Because I know some
I don't know too much about
competitive games, having a delay is somewhat useful, so you don't have the viewers. I can't remember. I think they call it ghosting, so they can tell where you are, say on a map, and then just hunt you down.
What a determination to be a dick.
Right.
Okay, what's this guy's gamer tag? Okay, let's see, is he streaming? Okay, yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna watch the stream.
And I can see some of that being.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
so much
sure-
work.
even during a tournament, I think that's why there's some delay, but I don't know if they're able to add their own delay. So then why is Twitch adding a permanent 1 minute?
Well, the problem I
Sure.
see with the delay on Twitch for a minute is the guy will be like, "Oh no, I died," and you're gonna see that death in a minute. The audio is still if the audio was delayed a minute also.
Oh, I didn't.
The audio is still the same.
No,
as
you-
far as I know.
You can time together. It has
Okay.
to do with how you output.
So
what-
Okay. I
but-
was gonna say I've seen some Twitch that look just fine.
And some of the
without it.
more professional level guys that have been in the business,
Us.
guys in the 6 million subscriber range plus.
Us.
What they do is they run all their video and audio out to a separate computer, especially when they're doing multiplayer, and they have it timed together and streamed together because otherwise there would be those delay issues. But they have a separate computer handle that.
Interesting. I wonder if sometimes they'll have people on a team that's part of the company, but I don't think officially, but they're Twitch streamers for them. Do they just pull that in too?
For a game.
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
League of Legends or Smite. They'll have. I don't know if they're actually employees, but
I've heard it's kind of. I think it runs like a sponsorship kind of thing. We'll support you doing this because that's part of the thing with Twitch is I think a lot of the League of Legends guys their delay isn't as much or something like that.
Right.
I could be wrong. I don't actually watch too much streaming because my internet is so bad that if I watch streaming, it runs so poorly.
yeah.
I was watching a Twitch stream the other day from an unknown or unnamed YouTuber, and there's apparently a guy that goes around hunting because, of course, on Twitch you can say what game you're playing. He looks for the most popular DayZ, DayZ beta player at the moment, and he finds that guy
And kill
through hacking methods. Doesn't
torment them.
doesn't kill him immediately, but says, "Hey, if you don't do a shout out for such and such a boy with cancer for this charity thing, I'll kill you." So I watched this YouTuber who would black out his screen while he went and switched servers to make sure the guy couldn't see his IP and all this sort of stuff, and changed his Steam profile names and even changed stream profiles, and the guy still tracked him down 6 times in a row. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
Oh wow!
And he would get in obviously in DayZ you load into sort of a random place, but sort of starting city areas.
Just to get a shout out for a personal shout out, or
Pretty much
charity?
that's what
it was
that's
for
what the
against
guy
cancer.
that's what the guy was saying. But he was harassing a YouTuber to do it. So
I don't trust some of those.
I would just
charities
say
things.
it anyways, just hey, shout out to this guy. I
Yeah,
don't
you
really
can-
know if it's real or not, but
You can just ask in
please
chat.
don't kill me.
Right.
the guy was obviously fully loaded because in that game you carry over your inventory.
And
And he was in full camo, everything. So you had no chance of killing him if you just loaded in.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
determined. You know what? Have you guys seen the stuff about like the DayZ beta? Like how you can like kidnap people,
Right.
basically? Oh my god, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like the stuff you see people do is like it's
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
think
The best thing that still exists in that is the fact that melee weapons can make gunshot sounds randomly and on accident for no apparent reason.
still.
So you can be like, yeah, it was something from the original DayZ before it was a standalone, but it still exists in the standalone beta. So you can like hit a wall with a baseball bat, and maybe with a 1 in 3, 1 in 5 chance, it makes a gunshot sound in a gunshot hole in the wall. For no, I wish that came with an actual projectile. That would be hilarious. So you could like shoot a guy with a bat.
Shoot
Right.
yeah, like the bullet actually went somewhere.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool.
instead of just like a hit sound file and texture.
So my buddy David was playing DayZ, and he had a fire axe. So he sees a guy has kidnapped another guy, and I'm hearing like he's talking to me over Skype. He's like, "Oh man, like this person has this person kidnapped. I'm gonna go save him." I'm like, "Whoa, okay, like good luck." So he gets up, he gets right behind the guy who's got the guy kidnapped. He's like, like drop all your items, and leave or whatever. The guy turns to try to attack him and he kills the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the dude's like, whoa, the guy who he saves is like, whoa, you're like Batman, like you just saved my life, like this is great. And he's like, yeah, just loot the dead guy's body, like take whatever you need, I'll just take what's left, like get your stuff back and all that. He's like, cool. The second my friend David like starts to turn his back, the guy tries to attack him, and David just happened to notice and get away. And had to kill the other guy.
Oh, wow.
So he saved his life, and then like immediately, got betrayed.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So he managed to survive, but I think he died in some other stupid way. It was like really dumb. But
Oh yeah, there's
like-
zombies in the game.
yeah,
Zombies or like tripping over a fence or breaking your leg. There's all
Yeah,
sorts of ways.
There's horrible ways to die.
Does it have
man.
in-game audio?
I think
chat?
there's like a distance chat. Like you can start talking into a mic, and it will.
Because is
Projected
that how he
voices
talked
or-
to the guys, or did they like
yeah.
Yeah.
hold on and he's like typing that out?
Yeah. No. Yeah. He.
Yeah. So I mean, you kind of have to have a mic to
Okay.
stay on the same level for other people, I guess.
Or you play as a mute. I communicate through Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah.
It's really difficult, and sometimes it just turns into
if that
balls.
if that game got to that level of realism, like Arma in general, but like the standalone DayZ, where literally people who typed chat messages, like it showed them showing it on a whiteboard, that would be hilarious. That would be
Oh, wow.
great.
Well, you do that, and then you throw the whiteboard down and shoot the person.
Yeah, because everything is reality based as much as they can for War Simulator, and that would be a
Right.
really interesting thing. Although it'd be really hard to read. If it still showed up in the text box, would it be cool if that was like an animation thing?
Well, it'd be cool if you could write on it and like leave it somewhere for somebody.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
for sure.
Like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
this room is like full of zombies, or hey,
Like a little sign
Yeah.
note.
Or
Yeah.
hey, look behind you, bang.
Mhm. yeah, you could get some crazy stuff going.
Like a bunch of arrows too to lead him down a certain hallway, and then he's trapped.
Well, but he was at the same time he was like running around. He kept finding food, and he kept going along a certain path. And he's like, I feel like I'm being led along a trap. He was actually okay, but like
Yeah.
that's actually kind of a funny way to lead somebody along too. Just like leave like rice or something.
Mm.
Oh,
Right.
DayZ. That's a game I both want to play and I'm scared to play. Not the zombies. I don't want to deal with people when there's no repercussions from them being horrible,
Yeah.
horrible people.
Not like a GTA where you get pushed to a bad server.
Right? Yeah. If you're a bad person, you go to the bad people place.
Oh,
Like,
no.
if you're a bad person, you have to. Well, no, you'll probably be fine because you just killed people and stole their food, whereas they'll be dead. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, DayZ. Oh, DayZ. Speaking of people being bad people, Dark Souls, man. Got my butt kicked a lot by people invading me. I both love and hate that mechanic.
Yeah, you got invaded twice by the same person.
In the same place.
Yeah.
You think I'd
Well,
learn?
And that's because that he will sit there and keep using his item. I think it's like a red eye or an eye,
Mhm.
and then he'll invade anyone in that zone.
And you're
In their
stuck
world.
in that zone.
And there's a good gap before you came back, but he was still there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hate that guy. Whatever his name was. King Drowsy.
Yeah, he was clearly way overgeared than you.
And he had magic spells. I didn't have magic protection.
That too, but his items couldn't tell exactly what they were, but they seem higher.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what covenant he was in.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I was playing Dark Souls, and like I was having a really crappy time, and I went human to like kindle a fire, and I got invaded, and like I never send messages to anybody, but I got killed by this guy. Like he just slaughtered me, and it kicked me back. I like ended up losing my souls, so I found him in like the game chat, and I just sent him a message like, "Go fuck yourself." Like, I never send messages to people over Xbox Live, but I was just furious.
When'd you do that?
This is when I was playing by myself.
Okay.
I did not record that
Did
one.
you do that today? I don't...
Not today. Today it was like he killed me right in front of the bonfire I was trying to get to.
Right,
So it was like a minor inconvenience.
Right, and the bonfire you're trying to get to, like, it wasn't working, and I called it, like, you're being invaded. Oh, but there's no one, I didn't see anyone.
I didn't see anyone.
It's probably loading them in.
Yeah.
And then immediately...
I was like, cool bonfire. Oh wait, I can't use it. And then I got killed and had to run back.
Yeah.
I both love and hate that system.
I just hope they clean up the matching.
Yeah,
how they do it.
Because I got slaughtered by that guy. I didn't like he had a move and he just did like ranged move and he did like all my health. It was
that was the
annoying.
crystal spear.
Yeah, whatever it was, it killed me pretty good. The problem is too, I'm pretty high level too, so the people I would fight would be pretty high level. But I'm not very good at the game.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I like how we all agreed.
Yes, you are bad at the game.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
Great moral support.
you're gonna beat the game, but as far as
I got
versus
the last
other
boss.
players,
Yeah.
you're player versus player.
Spoiler alert for the next video. Yeah, we got coming up. We got another Dark Souls video now, and now we got a Spelunky. We just played Spelunky before recording this podcast because we're cool like that. Spelunky went really well. We pretty much beat the game every run.
That's a good party game.
Spelunky?
Yeah.
Spelunky's a good party game, and it's a bad party game at the same time. Because that camera thing, like, you guys did really well with me having the camera. A lot of the times, people...
No, when we had the camera, though.
But a lot of the times, like, I'll be playing that game, and, like, people, like, you have to communicate a lot. Like, okay, we're gonna go this way, we're gonna go this way. And, I felt like I didn't have to communicate too much with you guys. Like, we just kind of figured it out.
No, yeah, it's pretty simple. You just hide behind the person with the camera.
And
When they die, you're the next person.
Yeah.
And don't throw anything because you're bound to hit somebody.
Yeah.
That's on your team.
The ally damage in that is ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we get to bunch together, and then it's like a bat's coming at us, and we all have rocks, and we can't throw it without killing the other person. Like, we gotta keep our distance a little bit better. Like, we're too in sync.
Or make called shots.
Yeah, like, I got
need to call them.
But the problem is we suck, so we're gonna miss.
Yeah.
We gotta work on our Spelunky skills.
And hitting ourselves with our own items. Too.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I've gotten a few kills. I've gotten killed a few times like that.
Yeah.
They do a cool streaming thing, which I would, if I ever get into streaming and if people ever want to watch my stuff, which, 3 years from now might happen. They do a thing called like roulette, like Spelunky roulette. And so everybody has fake money in like the Twitch stream. Like you get like $500.
Right.
And what you do is before I start the game, you bet how I'm going to die.
Gotcha.
So like, am I going to fall to death? Am I going to get killed by a snake? Am I going to get killed by a shopkeeper? Just stuff like that. And, if you win fictional money. So you're just betting on how the person's gonna die.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen in Diablo 3 where they used a fake currency and then you're able to redeem in-game Diablo stuff from the Twitch streamer.
Oh, that's
that
kind of cool.
Very cool.
I've seen that actually used, but then I've also seen it not used.
What is the fiction, like, how do you win fictional money? Like,
I can't remember. I think they just did lottos. Like,
okay.
Yeah, just so that you can build up a currency and keep it, I guess, in a way, and not just win a lotto item and then you're stuck with that item.
Yeah.
Can't remember exactly how it all worked, but my cousin did that.
If I get a capture card that can do HDMI, Diablo 3 might be kind of a fun game to play.
That would be fun.
At the very least, make like a montage of it, because that's another game that's pretty difficult.
Right, yeah, and we can play that, but your card can't do the...
It can't. It can only do HDMI composite cable stuff. Not HDMI. That's not HDMI. But it can do HD composite cable stuff.
Yeah. 1080i.
Yeah.
Wait,
right.
so can it do the PS...
720, I think.
Can it do the PS3, or is it...
Do you have the 3-colored cables? The
oh, no.
red, blue,
green.
red, blue, green. It's that order.
Yeah.
I'm doing it backwards from you.
Okay.
I don't think...
Yeah, that's the problem with my capture card. Though, I've got a bunch of friends who have the Elgato's capture cards, and I've been seeing really good things. I'm probably going to get one. So,
Okay, I think I've heard of that one. I can't remember.
it's pretty cheap, and so the capture card I have, it's a couple of years old. It does the job okay. It died for a while. It didn't work, but now it works pretty well. And it's older, but the problem is it actually, because it's powered itself, like it has a plug-in, it actually gets hot. And one time I left it plugged in, but I thought the power was off, and it was on for a couple days, and it like melted itself, basically. Now, I don't know how it works now, but it does. That's how we're able to make videos.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that the PS3 still has. I just only use HDMI.
Most people do. Most people use HDMI.
I can probably find a cord.
Yeah, I found it actually is like a normal capture card system is like a standalone box. I actually found one that you can install in a desktop, and then it has HDMI in and out, and that's pretty cool.
Well, there's a lot of I think most capture cards back in the day were like in desktops rather than like their own standalone thing.
I've heard about that because you can use that, I believe, for the DS. Because I've seen I've seen people use something for Pokemon X and Y. And it's like, how are they streaming that when it's on a DS?
I've heard the DS ones are like less than legal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like reviewers who need to be legal and stuff like that generally use promo footage from their videos. Oh, so whereas
well, there's all sorts of restrictions on Nintendo.
Right, I know Nintendo hates it, but how are they able to Twitch stream at all if Nintendo...
I mean, there are some methods that you can use, you know.
You would think that they would...
And stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. I also thought that too, but...
Because I'm sure there's 3DS emulators and things like that. That's one option for streaming. That's how a lot of people stream like old games and things like that. I think
one of them was using, and showed that they were using the player search thing, the PSS or the RSS feed to find other players in X and Y. So they were clearly playing on a DS, but
pretty much what I've heard is because I was watching a thing. There's Red 3 Games, which has Adam Sessler,
right?
And somebody asked him like, why don't you review more handheld games? And that's pretty much what he said. Like it's difficult to actually be able to capture footage from that without using the promo footage. And when they do reviews, they want to use footage that they got themselves rather than.
That's interesting.
Rather than promo footage.
I just watched something, I think, on IGN where they used their footage, but it was on Fire Emblem. But I guess, is it because Fire Emblem guys just don't care as much?
I think that's probably part of it.
Maybe. I mean, it's all Nintendo.
True. Yeah, like, what if Game Freak said, no, we're cool with them streaming our Pokemons.
I don't think Game Freak has anything to do with Nintendo anymore. I don't think you see the Game Freak thing in the beginning of Nintendo.
No, you don't.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's just the Pokemon company, which is owned by Nintendo now. I think. I could be talking out my butt.
I thought it was still Game Freaks that made the game, but they...
I think it's the same people, but it's all owned by, like, super owned by Nintendo.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I think. Again, could be talking out my butt.
Literally.
Literally. This could be my butt speaking to everyone right now.
It's quite a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive. I've trained a long time. I have vocal cords in my butt.
There's a movie about butts, and...
No.
It was like about a creature coming out of a dude's butt. And it came out recently. Have you heard of this?
No, what?
It's something Milo.
Wait, no, I recognize that name.
Not the dog movie.
No, not the dog movie.
No, that's Shiloh, isn't it?
No, I believe it was about a creature coming out of a butt. Am I not?
Oh!
And I can't remember if it's supposed to be good or funny, but I knew I wanted to watch it just because of what it's about. It sounded really crazy.
Yeah, Bad Milo. It's got...
Yeah.
That actually looks pretty good. Though it has... I'm looking at it right now on the internet, 5.6 on IMDb.
Well...
Oh, man. IMDb.
Do we need to watch that movie, though?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's. I heard good things.
That cover photo...
Well, I can't say I heard good things.
Oh, that is creepy.
Yeah.
It's really creepy. That's what comes out of his butt.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in IMDb, and they're difficult to find, but there are, you have the user-created lists on the side.
Right.
If you get to some weird movies, you start to get some really weird lists. There's one that's got, this is just the name of it, meaty-faced dudes. and like, you're going through it, and like, the first picture is the FDA or the drug enforcement guy from Breaking Bad, who's kind of a meaty faced dude. I think his name's Hank in this show. I can't remember the actor's name. But then it's just keeps showing like normal faced people, but meaty faced dudes. Look it up on IMDb. But then I can't remember if it's the same person or a different person. But they also had it's just called The League of Wizards, and then it had like Morgan Freeman, Patrick Stewart, like. A bunch of people, like older, good actors, and it was
clearly wizards.
Yeah, who are clearly wizards.
Clearly.
It was a straight, like, no description, no, like, this is the movie I'm making. Like, it's just League of Wizards and then old men.
Oh.
If they turned out to be real wizards, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
I think that's how that list was made.
And what better way to hide than in plain sight, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As an actor.
Playing a wizard.
Oh, it was just a movie trick. It's for a movie.
Yeah.
CGI.
It's kind of more difficult. I just googled League of Wizards IMDb list, and all I get is like Wizard of Oz, League of Their Own, Wizard of Oz, League of the Seeker. I don't know.
League of the Seeker.
League of the Seeker, man. A classic. You know, everybody remembers League of the Seeker.
No.
I remember Legend of the Seeker, but that's different.
Yeah, I don't
That's
remember.
far.
What? Okay, do you guys have a movie that you remember seeing as a kid and you loved it when you were a kid, and you've watched it as an adult and you're like, why the hell did I like this?
Waterworld. Waterworld was definitely mine.
That was so quick.
It was on TV all the time when I was a kid, and I watched it every time that I saw it was on,
Okay.
and I thought it was amazing. And then I grew up.
I loved that as a kid, but I've not watched it as an adult yet.
Yeah.
So
It's-
should I avoid watching it to ruin what I love?
I would say your memories of it are probably better than it is. It wasn't really that terrible of a movie, but it was under, like, it had more potential than it actually
Right.
showed, really.
That was so fast, man. I'm still laughing about that.
That's clearly the one for me. Like,
That's a
no
good
question.
choice, man.
Yeah.
No question.
Mine's a little different. But do you remember that movie? We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
Yes.
I remember watching that as a kid and getting scared.
That was
man.
so scary.
Yeah, like seeing it and like when they turn into dinosaurs, like I got so scared, man. Watching it as an adult, I'm like, what the hell is this?
That eel dude in his circus and all
Yeah.
the green and black and
Like that's just meant to scare children, right? Like
Yeah.
that can't be a kids movie.
Did you watch that recently?
Remember we were watching it while we tried to play Twilight Imperium.
Oh yeah, we were watching that. Okay.
We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It was amazing some of the stuff, like movies, early animated stuff you could get away with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
What
that's
else
kind of. I mean, that's even earlier because there's like a bunch of old like weird animated stuff like in the 20s and things, and like people just made some really weird. But that's the thing with like film and all that. Like people make really really weird stuff, and then like Hollywood or whatever comes in and it's like okay, no, we can't do this weird stuff anymore, and it kind of kills it a little bit. But you go to like Europe and things like that, or I've never been, but I hear you can still find the weird stuff pretty easy.
Yeah. Some film festivals here and there. You know, you can get plenty of weird stuff. So.
Well, and like if you live in like San Francisco or like LA or something, like you get exposed to a lot more of that. Like Sacramento, what do we have?
Would Bad Milo fit in that? Weird?
No, because it's kind of like a weird comedy, but it's not.
It's
I don't know. Like,
it's a horror.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Okay.
But you look into like this early stuff, and you can tell like it's influenced by like drugs and stuff like that.
Right.
Just all sorts of crazy things.
Speaking of drugs and influence, what was it? The I'm not going to be able to remember now.
So if you can't
I'm not
remember,
gonna be able to help
if
them.
you can't remember that, what's your movie?
Pick one.
I don't think I've seen a movie recently where I had that reaction.
Yeah.
I would have to find a movie that I saw as a kid and just rewatch it.
Well, thinking about it again, like I was trying to think of like what's a movie I saw when I was a kid, but I think as a kid all I watched was Star Wars.
Yeah.
We owned the original VHS. My dad was like, "You should watch this. You might like it." And I did, and that's all I watched as a kid. That's all I remember is Star Wars.
I watched a lot of like Predator and a lot of movies I should not have watched as a kid.
Right. Well, that's what dads were for.
My dad took me. I don't know how young I was for Starship Troopers, but I know he took me to see that in theaters when it came out. I saw
It's a
Predator,
good kids movie.
Aliens, Arachnophobia scared me as a kid, and I was way too young for those movies. I don't know how old I was, but yeah.
And here I was watching Aladdin, and
I watched those too, but
yeah,
my dad.
That's
got me
like
into,
Disney Collection was like all I had.
oh yeah.
There are other movies like Small Soldiers and stuff.
I see why you clung to Waterworld.
Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers was
Small Soldiers actually scared me as a kid.
yeah.
I
It
got
did.
scared by like everything as a kid.
There were. I mean, that parts of that movie for a kid are really scary, like all the Barbie scenes and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
why they're scared,
What?
but they are.
You know, I remember as a kid, and I remember getting over it as a kid too, and like it destroyed movie magic. I think as a child, which is why I'm now a film major. I used to like those the climax of any or the building up to the climax of any movie where it's like the hero gets broken down, and it's like there's no way they're going to be able to get through it. that used to like tear me up as a kid. Like, my God, there's no way they can win. They're so And I remember getting over it as a kid. I remember watching Mulan, and like when she gets ousted, and like, you're a girl, like you can't do. I remember getting that feeling. I'm like, it's a movie, Stu. It's gonna be fine. And ever since then, whenever I get that anxiety into a movie, I'm just like, it's a movie. Everything's gonna be fine. And then every once in a while, there's a movie where everything's not fine. I'm like, Curse you, gritty realism of modern movies.
Right.
Mulan was a good movie.
Mulan was a good movie. That's my favorite. I think that's my favorite Disney movie.
People actually debate whether she can be considered a princess too. Disney princess.
Yeah.
Because she's not really.
Well,
That's the
yeah.
thing. But people still count her. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
It's Disney.
They'll sell more toys, right?
Right? And well, and like, what was the one? What's the most recent one that took place in like New Orleans?
Wait,
With the frogs?
Oh.
Because she's a princess too, but the guy was like a prince of like some random country or something.
What is that called?
Too old.
Two old frogs. No, I saw it. It was actually.
No. I'm saying I'm too old to have actually known that was a thing.
I saw it, and it was actually good. So they did a good job with that movie. It was like, because there's that whole thing about like Pixar. Like if you watch like documentaries about like when Pixar came out, and it was like Disney shut down their hand animation departments because it was like, animated movies are the future. Like people just want to see animated movies.
No.
And it was really it's just that Pixar wrote good stories, and these animated movies that they were making, or hand-drawn movies, sucked. So when they went and made Princess and the Frog, was that the name of it? Well, they went and made that movie that took place in New Orleans. That was like, okay, we're gonna go back to hand-drawn stuff, and it was actually a good movie. Like, I mean, it's Disney, it doesn't get really dark, but there were a couple moments.
I'm surprised they gave up on, or they had lost faith in like hand animated.
Oh, yeah.
Yet they would publish, like, the Miyazaki films here in the West, and it's like, how do you not see that hand-drawn can still do really well?
I mean, that's just a classic tale of, like, Hollywood not getting it, but...
To be fair, the Miyazaki films here don't do nearly as well in a lot of respects.
True. But I'm sure they would know that it did at least well over there,
Well, I mean, there's a strong cult for Miyazaki movies. There are people who, like, any Miyazaki movie that comes to the West will see that movie.
I try to.
Yeah.
I think he has a new one coming into the theaters.
Yeah. Well, he's retired.
Yeah.
He did his last movie, so...
But
Studio Ghibli is still going.
Because his son runs it now, or something, right? Or some
I'm
made a
not
movie
sure.
through it.
I'm not sure who it is.
His son did a movie years ago.
Okay.
Or a couple years ago. I can't remember how many. Some dragon in the Earthsea or something.
Earthsea dragon.
I think, his son does movies as well. And Studio does other things too. Like, they have decent projects without Miyazaki.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely work on other works, but this will be the first time that they made a film, and he's not been part of the group.
Right.
So,
weird.
We'll see how good that one in particular is, but it's going to set the tone going forward in a lot of ways.
The last one he did was... correct me if I'm wrong, was like the Winds of something or another, and it's about the guy who invented the airplanes for Japan in World War II.
Or something. It's something very...
The Zero airplane, as it was called.
Yeah, something about the Zero airplane. There was another one that was like right before that when I heard about...
Wings of...
Wings, I can't remember.
Something, I don't remember.
I got a little hesitant because I was like, I couldn't remember if Zero was actually what those planes were called, or if that was a derogatory term for Japanese airplane pilots. Because there were quite a few derogatory terms. Yeah. Speaking of Disney and Japan, have you guys seen the Disney propaganda stuff from like World War II?
I've seen bits of it. There's a really, like, I think it's a Donald Duck cartoon with Nazis in it. Yeah.
Well,
it's now, like, they will no longer show it on TV at all. It's like a banned cartoon, but you can still find it around.
What's that movie called?
They won't show the
banned, or that they got.
Well, there was but there's the same thing with Donald Duck for Japan, and it's like. Oh man, it's so bad. Like, it's every Japanese stereotype that was going around at the time. So it's like big, thick glasses, like the buck teeth and stuff. I think he's like imitating, like, what's his name? Like Emperor Hirohito?
Yeah.
I got that name?
I think there was a movie.
Sounds right, so it must be.
I think there was an old movie that they
I know that.
stopped
I think that
on,
I know that was an emperor. I just don't know if that was the emperor at the time. I'm not sure.
But yeah, it was. I mean, they don't show that too much either. But you can find it on YouTube and stuff like that. It's racist. But
You know which movie I'm thinking of?
No.
Like, they showed... It had animation, like hand-drawn animation with real life as well. And
There's been a number of those mixed up. Was it a Japanese-based one?
No, it was a Disney one that I think didn't make it out of the VHS era, and they kind
it
of...
was banned? Or...
Yeah, or like they stopped selling it or allowing it to be sold. All the racism. I can't remember what the movie was called.
I mean, there's a lot of that in old Disney movies.
It was a Disney one.
Yeah, I remember. It was
all of them?
all of them, right?
Because you got like Dumbo and the Crows.
It had
all of Aladdin.
It had a lot of that type of racism, but with an actual African American guy. Like, and I just remember one of the scenes because I don't know why I've seen it. I think my grandma might have it. But he's like going down a pathway, not in a forest, but like in a meadow or something, and there's all these hand-drawn animation. I don't remember what they were. I don't remember what was so bad about it, but I know I've seen it, and I know that it was bad. I just can't remember anything about it.
I remember I saw a really old like silent film, and I think it was the first incarnation of The Wizard of Oz, well before the first one that was in color that everyone knows. And of course, it's a silent film. It cuts back and forth between text and video.
Right.
And one of the actors is African American or black, right? And this is a very early film. So it's kind of odd. And they actually made a joke, like, outright about the actor. And it was something along the lines of... And I think the actor was playing the Scarecrow or... Scarecrow or Tin Men. He was playing one of the two or a side character. And there was a joke about him being eaten by the lion. And it cuts to the text. And it's Dorothy saying... but lions don't like dark meat. Like, really? You just made that joke. Like, to be fair, it was like a 20s film.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty good because, you know, a lot of the times, like, back in the day, like, they didn't let black actors into movies. Like, if there were black characters, they were played by white people in blackface.
Mm-hmm. I know that may have actually been the case. I don't remember it well enough. I saw it when I was a kid on the History Channel. Or the History Channel or the Classics, whatever. I forget what it... Like AMC Classics or something. Show that.
The movie I was thinking of was called Song of the South. I just found the movie.
I can see how that could get kind of racist.
Right.
Yeah, man. Racism back in the day.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
It was a thing.
It was a thing.
Yeah. And I like, thinking about it, like, I could imagine that joke in a movie today.
Yeah, like, the Dark Knight one's not too bad. It's, like, really, like, the worst part about that time in a lot of ways was, like, blackface and things like that. Like Amos and Andy. Like, have you guys ever seen Amos and Andy stuff?
I don't know if I have. If I do, I don't know them by names.
It was like blackface, but it was like this They used to be. It was a radio show, and then they made a couple movies and things like that. Yeah. But it's all in blackface, and it's it's so racist.
Yeah.
Let's change the subject to maybe something a little bit more fun.
More racially sensitive.
More racially sensitive. Hey, what's the worst board game you guys have ever played? Just to totally change the subject.
I don't have a quick one on this.
I got a quick one on this. Battleship.
Battleship?
I hate Battleship.
Really?
Battleship is the worst made game ever. Let me tell you why Battleship is the worst. Let me imitate two people playing Battleship. A1. Miss. E5. Miss. D4. Miss. B7. Miss. That's Battleship. That's the entire game. But extend that over like half an hour.
True.
And like, you get a hit finally. Well, now you gotta guess which direct. It's so boring. No, it's not interactive at all. It's just say a letter and a number for half an hour.
It kind of makes you think of like Goldfish, but Goldfish is a little more sped up.
Goldfish is at least a game. I mean, I guess maybe this is the advantage. But you can't even play Battleship with kids. Go Fish you can play with kids.
True.
And like, okay, they can kind of cheat.
I guess so, yeah.
But you know, you can kind of call them on it because there's only 52 cards. Like, Battleship takes so long, and kids will cheat like crazy.
Right.
And they're gonna hit my thing.
Yeah.
Move it.
A lot of games that allow you to hide any part of the game.
Yeah, it's all honor system, man.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's better if there's like a group or judge or something else that can see what's going on.
But then somebody has to watch Battleship. That sounds worse than playing Battleship.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, no, in my opinion, Battleship is the worst board game. I can't think of anything really worse than that I've ever played.
I'll say Battleship was always frustrating to me. I just didn't like...
There's no real skill. It's all luck.
No, yeah.
It's a lot of luck, In very, very specific circumstances does it take skill, and it's usually very late game when it's close. Otherwise, it's just luck.
The worst part is that little like submarine thing that only has like 1 or 2 pegs in it. Like they just go pop and they stick it somewhere and you never fucking find it.
Yeah.
Everything, the entire game was the stupid like actual battleships, like the friggin' like aircraft carrier that's like 5 things long. Like 3 of those pieces.
I mean, you could play with like house rules of some sort where like you have so much damage on a fleet and that wins you the game, rather than having to take out everything.
Right.
Something that causes retreat or something.
Well,
retreat it again.
The game that I'm down to play that's similar to Battleship is called Battle Shots. You take pizza boxes and you make your design out of your pizza box, and then you can make the grid really fucking small, and when you put shots on the grid instead of like ships, so then I guess E5, you got a shot on E5. Drink the shot. Yeah. Okay. I can play Battle Shots.
I've preferential to that. There's a chess shots game where there's a shot glass for every single piece on the board, and you play it just like chess.
Are the pawns worth are they like half shots?
I think they're actually the same size.
Oh God.
But I mean, obviously you wouldn't play it with hard alcohol. It would be almost impossible to play.
Yeah.
But you can play it with something less, maybe a wine or something. Something that...
Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Like a beer.
Yeah, a beer would be fine, but it wouldn't be that much for like a game of chess. So you have to do something a little bit stronger.
Okay, so wine makes sense.
Maybe something cut with vodka, something like that, to give you a little bit of strength. But it works that every time that you lose a piece, you have to drink it.
See, but that's one of those games, because my favorite thing about drinking games is that whole aspect of, like, the more you lose, the worse you do. It's like, normally I hate that in any video game, but at least you're drinking. Like, beer pong, I like the idea of beer pong even before I started drinking, because it's like, it gets progressively more difficult the more you play, and the worse you do. And I'm awful at beer pong. I'm lucky if I sink a ball in one game.
Yeah. My first time through, I made almost all my shots, because I was able to correlate that with darts. And I play a lot of darts with my father, and just the rhythm of that arm motion that I would use, it worked out. And my first time I was high and drunk, which would be crossfaded. And I still did remarkably well first time.
That's pretty good, because even stone sober, I'm awful at that game. I was at a party, I was a designated driver, so I didn't drink any alcohol. I made 1 cup, which turned into 2, and I missed. The person who wasn't paying attention, I bounced it off their groin, and it landed in the ball, and that counted as 2, apparently. So I was like, yay, I did it! And everybody's like, whoa, dude, amazing shot! I'm like, yep, I'm amazing.
Yep.
My problem with beer pong, though, is like you get down to like 1 cup, and the other team can't make that 1 cup.
Right.
And so, like, and then eventually it gets to the point that both sides have 1 cup, and it's just like, come on. Somebody.
It seems like everyone has their own, I don't know, house rules. Everyone thinks like, oh no, this is the house rules, and it's like, no, this is, and it just,
it gets a little out of hand.
People like, especially, it depends on the size of the group that's around. Like in a small group, people tend to stick to the rules pretty well.
Right.
And at like large parties, it gets out of hand.
Yeah, large parties where there's like multiple tables and stuff.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep track of stuff, but. Most rules are pretty consistent.
Ignore that.
Most rules are pretty consistent, so you can call cups, or you can call like island. Some people call it like asteroid, like all sorts of names.
I haven't heard that one.
But or solo cup, like
solo cup,
right? So
whatever.
But now I'm thinking about Red Solo Cup, and now my life is horrible. Great. So what do you guys have for worst board game?
I'm trying to think.
I think I know what it is, but I don't remember it by name.
Describe it.
It's very addicting. It requires a wooden board of
But it's awful.
Yeah, of yay size with...
what is yay size to the people at home?
Wait. With like little divots and you have...
divots and you have marbles and you go around... Or marbles or stones and you go around...
What is that called? I know
it's not Chinese checkers.
No. It's a board... Moncala, yeah.
Moncala sucks.
Yeah, Moncala sucks a lot.
But it's addicting, yeah.
It's very addicting, but it is completely pointless, basically. Like, I don't know, it's addicting because you're like, oh, I'm gonna hit it. Yeah, I hit it, and like, you keep going, like...
It's good for kids, I think.
It's good for kids, but it's too, like, in retrospect, like, I wouldn't want to play it.
No.
Ever again.
Looking back at it, no,
yeah.
But keep a kid busy, yeah.
Yeah.
And it at least keeps their mind somewhat going.
Yeah. That's the thing with kids, man. You gotta have simple games, simple rules.
Mm.
Yeah. Though, when I was a kid, you guys ever play Spoons?
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, so as a kid, I played by the rules. So the rules to Spoons, to anybody that doesn't know, you get your cards, and you're trying to make, what is it, like 4 of a kind or
4.
something? And so you look at you have like, I don't know, like 6 cards. You take, like, somebody passes you one, you put it in your hand, and then you take one of those, and you pass it to the next person. And you're trying to get 4 of the same kind. And, so, you keep doing this. As a kid, I played by the rules, and so what happens is when you get 4 of a kind, you grab a spoon, and there's enough, like if you're playing with 8 people, there's 7 spoons.
So there's one less spoon.
One less spoon than the number of people. Once one person grabs a spoon, everybody else needs to grab a spoon. Whoever doesn't get a spoon gets a letter, like, you're trying to get the spoon, like horse or whatever.
Oh, we played it differently. You were out.
Yeah. You just
You were out?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You got
So,
forgiving.
and then...
Yeah, we had a very forgiving family.
Then it would go from 7 spoons to 6, and then from 6 to 5.
always
And
knock down a spoon.
every round you knocked someone out until you got to 2.
Right.
Like, can you even... I don't even remember playing 2. That
Playing
doesn't
with
seem...
one spoon?
Yeah, whoever got to...
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can do that.
It's just... The passing order is all messed up.
So, you know,
Obviously.
True.
as a kid, I played that game, properly and everything. Well, I guess apparently not, but, I tried my best. As an adult now, it's really easy to cheat at that game. So easy. All you do is somebody passes you a card, you just pass it to the person to your left. Don't look at it, doesn't matter what it is. Just stare at the spoons and wait for somebody to take the spoon. Now, what's great about passing the card immediately is if the person to your left, who you're passing the card to, is actually trying to play, you're making a
It
stack.
stresses them out.
They're like,
They
what are you
constantly have
doing?
too many
So
cards.
they're looking at their cards constantly.
They will always lose.
They will always
Yeah.
lose, and so you're able to get a spoon every time. It's great. That's the only way I
It's
play
not-
spoons now.
It's not really the fun way to play, though. 'Cause
Don't
you,
care.
You want to be the guy who gets 4 and then slyly sneaks a spoon and then just waits for people to
But,
notice.
you're like
Right.
me, man. I mean, you get...
That's the best part of that game, I feel.
Yeah, it's trying to...
When
if
you
get
steal a spoon and no one notices, or just like 1 or 2 people notice, and then...
I guess you would have to make the motion while you're trying to get a card. I think would be one of the better ones.
Yeah. Or, I mean, you obviously... it depends on how you play it or where you play it, but there could be, like, other stuff on a table, whatever, like... As long as it looks like you're doing
okay.
something, like you reposition something and pick it up.
So always have a glass with you.
Yeah, there are ways to distract.
Our
and make it-
family,
It's a
it's
good
usually a
drinking.
bare table, but
Yeah.
as soon as the spoons start going, like shit is flying through there. Like spoons are flying.
Oh, yeah.
The table.
Oh, it gets violent.
Yeah.
Really violent. Especially when you play with a large group.
You know, it would be a good way to play it. Play it with, rather than say 7 spoons in group of 8, play it with 7 empty bottles and 1 full one. The person who loses has to drink.
Oh, that's not bad. That might be a good addition.
Good way to play a drinking game
The
version.
problem with playing the drinking game version is when people get crazy grabbing spoons and stuff,
Oh.
drinks get knocked over.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're playing spoons on a very sticky table.
And that might be, I don't know, one reason to keep drinks off the table. And perhaps play it with cards instead. I just kind of like the idea of having the beer bottles there to sneak, I don't know, something similar.
Yeah, I do like the game of spoons.
Or
So
do it with shots. Shots is a good way.
shots might be
Because then, especially
at least then you're taking shots.
especially if you play it with an empty table and all you have is the 7 empty shot glasses and 1 full one, and you put like the full one in the middle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you keep it simple.
Yeah.
That's not a bad. That might not be a bad way to play it. We might
then-
have some drinking games to play after tonight.
Yeah, and that's 1 shot per round, so it's not that bad.
Yeah,
Drinking
and
glass.
when you lose, it's not like you have to keep drinking multiple shots.
Yeah, it's not like the way I first described it, it's like, oh, you have to drink a whole beer.
Right.
Just down it. But yeah, okay. So we got Moncala, we got Battleship. What do you got, Tim? What's your worst board game?
I don't know.
Pressure's on you, man. What do you got?
We played a lot, but I won't say we never played a bad one, but
Never played a bad.
I
Never
don't.
played a bad.
We probably did.
I played a lot of Battleship. Battleship sucks.
I think I've always had fun playing with family, so I don't know if I've ever noticed if we had a bad one.
Here's the ultimate question. Do you guys like Monopoly?
I liked it a lot as a kid. I played it in college while drinking was not as fun.
Mhm.
I think as a kid I did not like Monopoly. I think that might be mine. I don't know why I didn't like it. I just didn't.
See, Monopoly is another game that is not very good. I do not like Monopoly.
Monopoly can be a good game. It depends. Like, it has some strategy to it, but the strategy boils down to like a few very specific things that are optimal.
Mm-hmm.
But it is still kind of fun.
I played Fast Monopoly though recently, and that's the way to play Monopoly. You just pass out the properties to everybody, so you don't have to spend like
you don't have to keep going around the board until everyone buys it.
Yeah, because there's the whole thing like you got to go around the board once and then you can buy it. And it's like that's like half an hour right there.
Yeah.
So
you just have everyone has properties from the get go. All of them are distributed.
Everything's already owned by everybody.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then there's Communist Monopoly where everybody owns everything, so
yeah,
nothing really matters and there's no monetary system.
Yeah. Well, but if you're the banker, you rule a monopoly, right? So you're good.
So I'll be Stalin.
Yeah.
You are a political opponent. You're dead. You lose.
I was listening to the radio today, and they were talking about the fact that it's now the case in China with the Communist Party that there's a communist led private organization that directs a communist bank that is legally obligated or legally capable of providing funding to a communist arm of the government. There's a private funding circle that runs into public spending. That's pretty interesting, and it's all within the Communist Party.
Well, communist China is not very communist.
No,
it's like it is, but then it's like there's so many
but it's
capitalist
still,
things
still considered
about
the
it.
Communist Party. So
yeah,
regardless of how they act or what they do,
I suppose.
Yeah. Well, by name.
By name. Yeah.
Or they're like the People's Social Party.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Democratic Communist Party. I got nothing, man.
Yeah.
my knowledge of China is not.
I think you're starting to go down the official name of North Korea there for a second.
The People's Democratic. Because what is it? The DP and K. The People's the People's Democratic Republic of North Korea.
It's not North Korea. That's not the name of the country technically.
I don't. What? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, they have another full acronym. That is the name of the country. It's like where the United States. It's like that kind of a title.
Yeah.
But people call us America.
Okay. I think it's
that kind of thing. Where rather than geographic, it's the legal name.
Yeah, I think it's the People's Democratic Republic of Korea. Because I think I've heard DPRK, but I could be wrong. I could be very, very wrong.
You just said the People's Democratic.
The Democratic People's
PD?
PD, the DPR. I don't know. Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Keep saying DP.
My bad that I don't know North Korea's real name. All right.
And there goes
North Korea sympathizer.
The Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Oh!
Wikipedia.
So we just made it true.
It is not not to be confused with the Republic of Korea, which is South Korea. So Democratic.
That's much easier.
You would think if you had listened to the two, it's well, do you choose? Now I'm forgetting it. Do you choose Republic of Korea or Democratic People's Republic of Korea?
Why are all the communist ones really long and complicated, but aren't actually what they describe?
I'm not sure. It's
are they trying to trick you into? Oh well, this one sounds definitely better.
Yeah, let's move there.
I mean,
nice.
the People's whatever it is,
People's Democratic Republic of Korea.
Yeah, that one. That sounds. It's People's. That sounds good. Much easier than Republic. Yeah, apparently not. Don't go to North Korea.
No.
Unless you're, what's the name of the guy who's, North Korea?
Kim Jong-un.
Well, I mean, he's the dictator. He kind of hangs out there, but the basketball player.
Oh, Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. What the hell? Such a weird story. I'm a basketball player, and I'm also a basketball diplomat. All right.
Apparently. And China is the People's Republic of China.
Okay, that's not too complicated. I thought it was something more complicated. Never mind.
But considering that North Korea is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, that's a popular phraseology, I guess.
Yeah.
In Asian, I guess not Asian.
It's not much of a democracy, though.
Continental Asian countries.
It's not much of a democracy for the people.
No, not North Korea.
Not North Korea. That's weird that it has.
I mean, it's fascist.
Well, I guess it's republic. Yeah. Well, it's not republic, but unless you have one representative, you don't really get to vote for him, but he kind of controls everything. That's like a republic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. All right, so I think it's time we start winding down this podcast. Anybody got any plugs or anything that they want to talk about?
No.
Butt
plugs.
I think a couple things I would like to bring up before we finish this and go to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
I wouldn't say that.
No, I wouldn't say that. Did I get it wrong?
I think that's the one thing we're going to have to censor.
Is that what- I knew the NSA was listening to our podcast. That's where we got that fourth view on our last one, the NSA, man.
It wasn't... No, I didn't watch it on 2 different computers, so...
Do you think the NSA, like, when they're watching YouTube videos, do you think they actually add, like, that count adds to it, you know?
Oh, yeah, it would.
Yeah, like, they're not doing it through, like, some system that, like, doesn't add.
Interesting.
Oh, man, then I'm all in favor of the NSA. I need all the views we can get. But yeah, if anybody has any questions or suggestions for the podcast, so, like, all 2 people listening to this.
Us, basically.
Us, yeah. If I have any questions for the podcast, tweet them to me at StewPart2, that's number 2, and you can just do that there, or you can actually comment on this video because it's going to be up on YouTube, so that'll work too, and we'll answer that question next week.
There'll be only 3 comments, so it'll be easy for us to get back at you. They're not
right. Well, it's just us
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you guys should probably just text me, but no, let's do it on Facebook, do it on YouTube, Twitter. Yeah, I've become obsessed with Twitter lately.
Obsessed with Twitter after giving up Facebook.
Yeah, right? Like last week I'm giving up Facebook, and now it's like, let me defend my action real quick. Alright. I spend an obscene amount of time on Facebook. I don't spend nearly as much time on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because
short.
Because it's very short. Yeah, that keeps it very simple. And I like that. Because Facebook's very shiny, there's lots of pictures, there's lots of things going on. Twitter's very simple. But I also like Facebook is like veiled self-promotion, whereas like Twitter is just self-promotion. Like it's just go for it, no one cares, everybody else is doing it, just promote yourself. So I can dig that.
I can say honestly, I've never had a Twitter account.
It's kind of fun. I mean, I don't know. Like
I don't get it in a lot of ways. I understand why it's useful, particularly for businesses, particularly for promotion. Certain people, of course, can get, sort of a sense of self-respect from people following stuff like that. I don't really want that. Not in 140 characters.
Well, my thing too is like after quitting Facebook for so long, like you're so used to having this weird outlet where you can just say random stuff to the internet, whether anybody responds to it or not. And like giving up Facebook, I was like, I don't have that weird outlet anymore.
What do I do?
So I started a Twitter account. Now I can just say all sorts of weird stuff.
I started mine way back. It was during one of the BlizzCons, and I believe we used it to keep track of what's going on the floor, and they didn't have any type of streaming or anything of what was going on. And I believe that was before it really got popular. I want to say at least newsworthy, or you actually saw it on commercials now.
Yeah, because like everything's sign. Like follow Twitter. Yeah, because everything's hashtag this. And at Rizzoli Isles.
But I never used it past that BlizzCon.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a couple posts on there.
I might have.
Right?
I might have got it. I might have had it linked to something. Can you link it to something where it posts?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can make it so that your Twitter posts on your Facebook. I know that.
No, MySpace.
MySpace. Interesting. Wait.
I think I might have had it linked to my MySpace at one time.
So whenever you posted on MySpace,
Right.
Do you post a lot on MySpace?
No, not anymore. I don't think I've Twittered recently, have I?
MySpace.
Haven't Twittered yourself?
I thought I saw something not too long ago.
Maybe
the Tim Shill.
I don't know.
At the Tim Shill. I don't know what your Twitter is.
I don't even know.
Actually, I think I'm following you on Twitter.
Really?
I think so.
Who am I?
I don't know. Let's find out. Who are you? Yeah, you're at Tim Shill.
What?
Yeah, your name is Kutzman.
That's not me. That's not me.
That's you. It's a picture of you. It's got some freaking Samurai Champloo stuff. Your last post was November 30th, 2013. Vote for Lizard Pixelmon server shar.es.
Oh.
That Twitter.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't know that.
That Twitter.
I don't know that account, but I know I did that.
That's you, motherfucker.
Yeah, I guess I did update it. Because I did that so that I can win something.
You have more followers than I do, and you don't even use this crap.
I have followers?
Yeah, you have 13. One of them's me.
What? No, I used that to win something on the Minecraft server.
Did you win?
Of Pixelmon. No, I don't think I did.
Ah, I'm disappointed then.
No, you didn't.
And I had to use it to get a free skin for Smite on one of the gods, I believe. But besides that, I don't think I've really used it.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to be like famous on Twitter, man. It's gonna happen.
I have 13 followers.
13, man. I only have 10. I had 11, but one guy unfollowed me, so
Ooh.
Yeah. No,
I can follow you. You'll have...
Yeah, give me up to 11, man. Make me feel better about myself.
I might have to start using it. I don't know why. Maybe I won't.
Maybe you won't.
No.
No, it's not that great, but I really like it.
It probably would look just like my Facebook feed.
You see, yeah, I don't have that Facebook outlet, but I don't know. It's nice. I don't spend as much time on there because I'm the kind of person who can turn my brain off and just look at social media mindlessly. And it's a little bit more difficult to do that with Twitter.
I only do Facebook on my phone, so I'm easily able to just turn it off and not. Like, I go to check if I have a message. Hey, if anyone said anything interesting in the last hour, if I'm bored, standing there, where I would check something like Reddit anyway, so.
Yeah, see, my problem is I start editing on my computer. I'm like, I'll just check Facebook real quick, and then all of a sudden it's like, and I spent way too long on Facebook.
There went 3 hours. What?
Yeah, right?
What?
I don't know how I do it, but Facebook, man, it consumed me. So I don't use Facebook too much. We forgot to make the Facebook for fan friction today. We can do that, right now.
It's probably already exists by the time.
No, it does. Okay, so let's go to the last and final topic of our thing. We picked the worst friggin' name, fan friction, for 2 reasons. One, there's 5 other ones. 2, if you type in fan friction into
it autocorrects.
It autocorrects to fan fiction almost every time.
But we felt clever.
We felt so clever with fan friction 2.
No, for fan friction. And then we looked it up, and then we realized there was already one.
But
so
we're too dedicated now. It's not like we can't. We're too famous. Can't change the name.
And all you have to do is become the most famous one.
Yeah,
right.
Well, that's the nice thing because there's 5, but they're not very big. Yeah, we got to trademark fan, and we got to trademark friction.
Right.
And not let anybody have either of those.
In all media.
In all media. No games that have the word friction.
Baby toys.
Baby toys. Nope. No friction baby toys. Or giant squid friction baby toys.
So headline. U.S. military may consider you a potential terrorist if you are young, use social media, or question mainstream ideologies. Thus, every teenager currently living.
Yeah. I mean, I don't question mainstream.
That's a heck of a headline, I would say. I think that was written in 2011 or 2012.
Would questioning
2012.
mainstream ideologies be more like the NSA is bad, or because I feel like that's pretty mainstream.
When I think mainstream ideologies, I imagine rather than ideologies, I imagine music, and it's obviously kids teens. Music tastes very hugely during that period of life. So I'm thinking of that when I hear mainstream, that's the first thing that jumps in my head. And the ideologies part falls out. Right.
Because my brain's if it's questioning mainstream, what if you're what if I think the NSA is a good thing? It's really doing a good job. Because I feel like that's questioning what a lot of people are saying. And I'm supporting the NSA right now because if they're going to add to our counts, that's going to be great. And I feel like the more I say NSA in this podcast, the more likely they are to be here. NSA, 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 NSA.
Every time they view, we get 1,000 views.
Well, I don't know how you got that one, but let's hope.
Yes. They can do it, right?
I think the NSA.
NSA.
Al-Qaeda.
NSA.
Taliban.
Al-Qaeda. Taliban.
Bomb.
NSA.
Bombing plot.
North Korea. NSA.
Nuclear missiles.
Man, we're going to have it all over. We're going to be huge on YouTube now.
Screwed.
or we're going to be in Gitmo. I haven't decided.
Intercontinental ballistic missiles armed and ready.
Okay, I don't need us to be that famous.
Oh, okay. I'm trying.
But yeah, no. If you're listening to this podcast, you're on YouTube, you're on Notepad, whatever. If you download it, if you download it from my Dropbox account, then
yeah, that technically works.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to type your comment into Notepad if you're not connected to the internet. But yeah, just type NSA as a comment for this video. We need more views.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that great note, I think this is the end of the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Yep. So here's us signing off.
Official podcast number 1.
Wow.